Greetings, everyone. My name is Danielle Lennon, and I'm excited to bring you this virtual professional development so that you can become an even better virtual teacher in this environment. I'm so excited that Ms. Hood asked us all to kind of put together some PDs so we can send out and we can be ready for whenever our parents, our students, or fellow teachers need it. Education is a virtual journey. And I'm going to discuss a little bit with you today about why virtual education is not just the wave of the future or something cliche that we like to say, the 21st century. That's all extremely important. But if you really get down to it, employers are looking for ways at all times to cut overhead. I owned a business for 4 years. I know how expensive overhead is. And with being able to educate students at home or remotely, that allows teachers also the flexibility, students the flexibility to not have to be in a building. Offices and businesses are also moving to this model because, again, it cuts overhead, but it still gives you the same reliability that you would in an office setting. They can also take that money and put it into more resources and better training. By the time our millennials, which are now, are going into the workplace, they are valuing work life balance, flexibility, and with virtual learning and preparing our students how to operate in a virtual environment, they're more likely to be prepared for what they will face as a 21st century learner and going into the business world. So it is definitely a journey. Just quickly about me, I'm a virtual facilitator at Charlotte Mecklenburg High School, or Charlotte Mecklenburg High School, most of you know. I graduated from Winthrop University with my undergrad in history education and my graduate degree in curriculum and instruction. I love to tout, even though I'm not teaching in this district right now, that I was the Fort Mill 2015 District Teacher of the Year. I'm a 15-year educator. Community service is my jam. I love, love, love collaboration, and I also love sparkles. Now, while I'm a tech enthusiast, I'm not a tech genius. Because it evolves every day, there's always something to learn. So don't be intimidated by tech. Dive in and evolve with it. So, this is just a little gif of what some teachers and students think that virtual education and remote learning looks like. Can't touch this. That's what they think it will be. Oh, it's going to be so easy. I can just log on when I want. Oh, I love working from home. But then when you really get into it, it's more like this. What you soon realize after dealing with parents, students, tech issues, login issues, and curriculum. So it's a lot more to it than just, oh, I get to work from where I want to work and when I want to work. That's a perk, but it involves so much more. And that's what we're going to go in briefly today. Let's debunk some untruths about virtual learning. First off, it's easier than brick and mortar learning. Let me break that down right now. My students, several have said, especially my African American political thought class, have said this class is the hardest class that they have ever taken. Why? Because it employs soft skills that often aren't honed in a brick and mortar environment. As teachers in a regular or traditional classroom, we help clarify directions immediately. Well, this causes students to have to go themselves to interpret directions, to make inferences, to agency, meaning they're actually going to have to say, Miss Lennon, I need help with this, or let me go to the frequently asked questions page, or let me YouTube or figure out how to move through this problem versus instant gratification of a teacher coming over. Asking for help is something in particular high school students don't enjoy doing. But when you're going into the workforce and you're collaborating on a team, it's very important to say to a fellow team member, I didn't understand what you put on that spreadsheet. And this is what online learning does. It makes them innovate. It makes them be creative. It makes them critically think and how to solve a problem in a different modality. So, on top of the rigor of, say, a document based question of Malcolm versus Martin, or the plight of the Trojan War, or whatever, they also have to think how to express that in a different modality. Another myth is that it's hard and children are inherently irresponsible. Once they've started and they actually get the hang of it and have an established schedule and um, really clear, defined expectations, they are better at it than you may think. Remember, they grew up in a digital environment. So this is not going to be as intimidating for students as it is parents. And another thing is attitude. If you present digital learning or virtual learning in a manner that is exciting and new and an adventure to our younger group, then that's how they will receive it. Parents really and teachers really can set the tone. Another myth about virtual instruction is it's so hard to create work. No, a lot of it is compiling things that are already there that you already have and putting them together. And another thing is if you limit some synchronous instruction and go with asynchronous instruction, you're front loading all of the information. And this way you're able to scrutinize and give better feedback than just, oh, I got to grade this, I got to get through it and plan a lesson. That's already done in advance. So now the rigor comes in where you can provide real time and I would say feedback with fidelity and not just trying to get it done. So I made this little infographic here because I really love it. I tailored it to formal schools, but remote learning success. I say follow the bees. As teachers, we love consistency, but we have to prepare our kids to always not have it. So 3 B's: be present, be equitable and inclusive, and be helpful. Under be present, ensure your outlook is positive. I went over that earlier. Set expectations in a how to section. Later on in the presentation, I'm going to go over with you what a how to section is. It saves you a whole lot of time and a whole lot of room. Let them see your face. This moves from screen to interaction. I love Screencastify because I can instruct at the same time. I can move my face up, I can move my face down, I can address students directly through the screen, say happy birthday, or do whatever I need to do. Create community. This is easily done by pivoting your face to face objects to digital components. For example, your interest inventories, leveraging your social medias with click buttons, dojos, games, select synchronous activities. So you're meeting these people and they feel like your family, but they're just in a digital environment. With our high school students in particular, that's pretty much how they communicate. So this isn't new to them. It's just a pushback because they want their schooling a little different. 2, be equitable and inclusive. This is a huge passion for me. When I was in Fort Mill, I served on the diversity and inclusion task, and I also do similar inclusion workshops and on different committees in CMS. Be equitable and inclusive. Verify that students are able to access online platforms. So some of the cumbersome things we had to go through is getting the parents into our building to get the laptop and to get the hotspot. So make sure we are in communication with your district on how that will be done. And you might, as a teacher, have to advocate on behalf of your student, making sure they have hotspot. That can be done through interest inventories. Stay in contact with the families via a communication log. In the digital world, if it's not written, it didn't happen. So you need to make sure that you come up with a spreadsheet and it has each one of their names, how often you contacted them, and what came as a result. So you can keep a timeline of what's going on. Document, document, document. That's brick and mortar in traditional classrooms, even more important in digital. Be flexible and observant. Religious holidays, parent work schedules, unique households. A lot of people in our virtual school live on the West Coast for a couple of months out of the year during audition season. So I had to understand that they would be doing their work on a different time zone or a different time frame. So be sure, or they're rowing crew, or they're in the gym training for the Olympics all day. So their work comes at night. Or some of my students work all day to support their family, so their work does come at night. With digital or virtual learning, this allows them to meet these individual needs and provides equity and value in whatever family circumstance that they're having at that time, giving it validity. Be helpful to families and students during transition. Using graphics, bullets, and screenshots are the best way to communicate with parents. It's almost like go this way, touch this button, click right here. I found huge success. Parents would write and say, there was no way I didn't know what I was doing. You walked me through it step by step. Help parents with hard topics by providing videos, Seesaw, or YouTube. Break down a concept for step by step. I loved one of my daughter's teachers in Fort Mill, Miss Johnson. She did Seesaw for when she was teaching the concept of regrouping, because back in my day we carried that one and didn't ask questions. But now with regrouping, she showed me how to do it, so I was able to help my student check her work and then give her agency. For parents that aren't at home or not able, they can also use this video for the same thing. Even students that may not have access to a lot of technology often have access to a phone, so those can be used during that time. Feedback is key. Be sure that you have discussion boards that parents are able to post directly to you to get questions answered in a timely fashion. These are just three basic B's. Like I say, be present, be equitable and inclusive, and be helpful for the transition that will get you through. I'm moving a little quickly, but the cool thing is you can rewind me, pause me, and take notes on me while you are going through this process. Digital learning is the best. That meets the needs of students at all different levels. For our EL students, our IEP students, our 504 students, in which we have to modify the curriculum, that's the quickest modification you can make. Stop, go. Also, read and write Google. There are so many tools that make digital learning just not the wave of the future, but so accommodating to our students. Let's talk about instructional excellence and the student's experience, the student engagement, and work quality. So, strong instruction where students do most of the thinking and teachers hold high expectations. Those are two key things I know in CMS that we are really looking for. So, in order to do that in a digital platform, we plainly need to get a little flashy and mimic what they're seeing in a regular digital world. So, let's improve the look of these pages. How do you do that? And I'll provide some links after this workshop to help you go through those. Canva, pictures of yourself, that provides the community, bright colors, memes, quotes, and even a little thing we call Google Keep, where they can kind of take notes while they are going through the instruction. So here are just a few examples of things that you can see in my class. My emails come from the desk of or a memo of Miss Lennon. So it's bright. So as soon as you open it, there it is. Here's an example of when I owned my store, some of the graphic information that I sent back. Also, here is a workshop I was using this graphic for using academic language. And just when I'm talking about family or when I'm talking about very sensitive issues, I often throw in pictures of my own. And of course, these are the most important directional graphics. These are helpful for parents and elementary. Click here. So those are really, really great. All right, let's move here. Application, application, application. Make them think. So I do actually instruct and create the curriculum for the African American political thought class. And we do a lot of comparative politics. We talk about things such as colorism. We talk about history in different countries. And if you click on these different lessons, I'll log in. It immediately takes you to my lesson on colorism. They're supposed to watch two of the videos. Again, they have my face in them. And also, here's where the challenging comes in. You must reference something from both videos. And how has colorism moved from the plantation and affected the lives of African Americans, both past and present? They have to not only write about that, but discuss it in the discussion board. And I've also included a rubric to make sure their response is rigorous, concise, and on task. So that's just a little example. Another application lesson I've done is taken directly from the text, explain your answers. This is about the Gilded Age. I love this activity because I got documents, real documents from Andrew Carnegie, The Wealth and Its Uses, and they had to do analysis, just like a DBQ, which they would regularly in a class. Here's another one. They had choices. Just like we give choices in the classroom, we need to give them choices digitally. And I'm sure a lot of you do that. This is to create a public service announcement or a pamphlet on the major beliefs from each of the Far East religions: Confucianism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. They have to use Google Slides or a PowerPoint. From there, they build upon that. They have to discuss, and I can put them in a small group in my Canvas pages in which they compare and contrast, and then they have to write about an opposing view. So there is levels to what digital online can do. They also have to take a screenshot of screenshot of them engaging in a Zoom with the classmate. Our Zoom is protected. We have passwords and it's CMS wide, so you all have access to it. So now going back to my PowerPoint presentation here. Okay. So make sure you have a pacing guide. This is not only for the students, but this is also for parents. What are they supposed to be doing today? Or how do we get there? Everything is set up by modules with the date. African to American. Entire module, excuse me, December. I cannot today. African to American. Entire module due February 9th. My entire module is due February 9th, but if you look at each day, it tells them what assignments they're supposed to do. This also populates itself into a calendar. So there's no, oh, I wake up, where do I start? It pops up day one in Canvas and it lets you know, here are the activities you do today. It's also printable. And if you need a catch up plan, you call back to your teacher and she can move the dates around for you. So it's very, very user friendly. My students always know what to do. Oh, Miss Lennon, I'm on February 3rd. I'm doing What Was Africa Like Prior to the Slave Trade today. All right. Make sure you are providing your expectations in the student engagement. I did a quick video. It's really cute. I won't show it to you, but what are the 5 things in my class to avoid? We talk about plagiarism. We talk about citations. We talk about taking other people's work. We talk about digital citizenship. What does that mean and what does that look like? And I provide very concrete examples. I make personal videos. I also use a lot of clickbait. to get them interested. Now, keep in mind, I teach a high school class. This one is, yo, I got a Starbucks in my hood. That day, we were discussing redlining and gentrification and the connections of past and present. You can use stories, games, record comments. I also keep them engaged by weekly emails, incentives, social media, and checkpoints. So these are all just wonderful, bright ways and video usage to keep our kids involved. Grade appropriate assignments is something that a lot of parents worry about within the realm of virtual education. In one English language arts class, students read A Mighty Long Way, written by one of the students who integrated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. They wrote an informational essay allowing them to meet multiple grade level standards. It's awesome how you can take one assignment and make it and tier it into others. This assignment is informational text evidence supported. It includes comparative politics, points of view, gives choices, and stretches thinking. And plainly, it makes you tired. But it's only one assignment. So you don't have to load on the work. You can have one assignment that's tiered. That's another myth that you're giving a lot of work. Just the opposite. You can give 4 good assignments digitally. Grade appropriate assignments. Here are some examples. The DBQ project, identifying trends, comparative politics, how to summarize, how to take notes. I do a video on that. What should your notebook look like? I hold up a piece of paper, show them Cornell notes, tell them to get out their highlighters. And I read the study, The Opportunity Myth. Students are asked to identify, but not to compare questions. This was a study that was done um, when a group of consultants kind of went into CMS schools and noticed that a lot of grade level work wasn't happening. And one of them was they were asked maybe to identify, but not to compare and contrast. Work quality. Here is an example. I give them examples. This is one of my students' work of what a work looks like so that there's no confusion. Also, I circle where they should go and what they should pay attention to. These are very helpful when students are trying to guess what digital work looks like and they have the examples with them at all times. They can always go back to refer. Some of the growth and challenges that we're seeing. Let's move my face here. Data comparison, curriculum adjustments, L translations. We definitely need to work on that in CMS. Students that are added to the class late. So we really need to focus and advocate at the district level on making sure that when students are at orientation, they're getting into their classes on time. I love to learn. And I want you to take a selfie in celebration of what you've learned. We're going to now break up into groups and use our Padlets and iPads and talk about what online learning really looks to you. What are your experiences? What are your fears? What are your doubts? And just discuss those. After that, we're going to break out and you'll have some time to work on your how-to pages and I'll be circulating. Thank you so much. Have a great day.